Peace, brother Polight. Traveling as always, you know how it go. And I was here just doing some thinking because it seems as though, and this is, I want to say this first and foremost as a disclaimer, right? My disclaimer is this: I'm not knocking single mothers as though it's their fault in totality that they're single. But it just seems like every time I hear about a strong black mother or a strong black woman, we're talking about the women who are not presently in relationships with men. And I think that we need to hone in more in our culture on families, on women that are still presently in relationships with men whom they have children with. I feel we should put a stamp of approval and more exclamation on those circumstances. And the reason why I feel like that is because what are we actually telling our youth? It's to the point that you got almost any sister saying, if she's single, yo, I'm a strong black woman, I gotta raise this child by myself. And I'm like, yo, hold on. It almost seems like you're a strong black woman because you're single. It just seems like that. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. It just seems like that. It seems like, you know, once a woman's single and she got a child, she got the stamp of approval to be considered a strong black woman. Now, I'm not going to say raising a child by yourself is easy, because when I'm just out with my daughter by myself, it's not easy. And I have several mothers in the household because I'm in a polygynous relationship. And it's still not easy. So I definitely give kudos, support, and props to the sisters that are doing the right thing, who unfortunately don't have a male figure in their life. Don't have a male figure for the child in their life. But I just want to give this thing more context, because I think some people are misappropriating the credit that is due to the women that's doing a phenomenal job, and misinterpreting it as, well, just because you have no man in your life and you have a child, that you're a strong black woman. And I think that needs to be corrected. That's what I feel. So what I want to do with this video is, and I'm not undermining the single black woman, because I know we're in a culture where the brothers become men very late in age. On an average, you know, I would say this, way more black men than need be become men late in the game, because many of them think what makes them a man is just making a baby or even having sex with a woman. You know, there's different theories, and it's been failing quite recently and since time immemorial, since we suffer from transgenerational behavior, a stress incurred from slavery as well as inherited from slavery. So it's true. It's a reality. I get that part. Whilst at the same time, I just want to celebrate two things in particular on this Mother's Day. And what I want to celebrate is the children, because I don't think there's enough focus or emphasis on celebrating children on Mother's Day, because they're the ones that make the women mothers. So on Mother's Day, we have to do great things for the children as well, because the women are mothers because of the children. We got to celebrate those babies. And then we definitely got to celebrate the woman for the process, because we have to take into consideration not just any woman, the black woman. She has to go through so much in this society, which is why she winds up finding herself single at times. But separate from that, the societal construct that's set up is very difficult to be a prospering mother or father, and it's very difficult to sustain a relationship because of the roadblocks that's put before us in our communities because of the setup. The setup is on. We're not going to disregard the fact that the setup is on. Now, I'm not one that's going to hone in on making excuses, but we're going to keep it real, and we know that there's a setup to destroy the black family. Everything from child support to the lack of culture, which in turn we see media propaganda in a form of hip-hop and R&B that they call our culture, which is saturated with misogynistic lyrics that in turn warrant the behavior of the disrespect and the desecration of the wombs from which we derive. The only culture they want to accredit to being black culture happens to be the deaf culture that music has become today, and a personage of our people disseminating lyrics that tear down the black family, encourages us to use drugs, sells us on the idea that we have a lesser self-value. These are facts. These are absolute facts. And so what we have to do is celebrate the best parts of our community, and in doing so, that's how you reestablish culture. That's one of the tenets of culture, is celebration. But what are we celebrating? This is not a knock to the single parents, not even single woman, not even single man, because they exist. I'm simply saying, when we get to the point where more people celebrate the single parent than they celebrate the family unit, that's non-cipher. So what I'm going to do to add on is say that what we need to celebrate and push to the surface or to the forefront are the families that are still cohesive, so that can be the working model. Because right now, anybody damn near can claim they're a strong black woman, because it's just them by themselves raising a child. And that's so popular, like I said, there's not enough onus on the sisters to make sure they stay in a relationship with a man. And again, I know it's not easy because of the culture that we're in. I know it's not easy. I know the setup is on. So this is not a knock for the sisters. You know I teach the black woman is God. You know I teach that. So let's not play games. What I'm saying is, and I want to be clear, that's why I'm saying the same thing over and over. I want to be very clear with this. So no one misconstrues what I'm saying. We have to celebrate women that are still in relationships with men that have children. We have to celebrate that. We got to celebrate it like we've celebrated the single mom for years. Because now we have enough information to repopulate our community with more sustainable relationships. We have enough economic information, enough scientific information. We know how it sets us back, having all these different broken families. Okay, so we got a social, political, and socio-economical obligation to change the condition of our families. And one of the ways we do it is by celebrating us at our best. I'm not telling you don't celebrate the single black mother who's working hard, who's by herself, grinding. Salute to you. Happy Mother's Day. But what I'm telling you is we have to push to the forefront. Like no other culture is going to celebrate the consequences or celebrate the pitfalls of their community. No other culture does that. We're the only one that automatically jumps out the window and we make the weaker part of our communities the strongest part. So I get it. And a lot of the people we look up to come from broken family households, like myself. So in turn, when we see strong people come out of broken family households, we inadvertently and subconsciously subscribe to the idea that that construct might even be a little bit better. That is to say, growing up harder. So even in the music, you find people want to sell you on the idea that life was harder than in the instance where things are better for a person. There's no glory for a person in music, in the music industry. There's no glory in black culture music, right? And that which they call black culture in the hip-hop industry. There's no glory for a person who was raised by their mother and father. And they wait for them to have an education and money saved for their future. There's no glory for those people. That'd be whack. We wouldn't purchase that. It's corny. What we want is the perpetual broken family paradigm, because with that comes struggle, and with that struggle comes compromise, and with that compromise now, we don't have to be held accountable because after all, hey, we already were set back. So yeah, let's make things harder. We'll actually be making things harder if we celebrate the best parts of our culture, because that should be the goal for everybody. We're becoming so complacent with celebrating the worst parts of our culture. It's never good when the child doesn't have both the mother and father in their household. But because this paradigm, this broken family paradigm, is celebrated and glorified inadvertently and inadvertently, especially through media propaganda in the form of black culture by way of the music, popular music, we find ourselves in this conundrum where we're silent on the families that stay together and very vocal about the single mothers doing their own thing. Salute to the single mother, I want to say it again, but some things have to be discussed. It's a fact. Some things have to be discussed. See? I understand single mothers celebrate the survival of them and their children. I get it. So this is not a knock. That's why I can't say what I say enough. If I be any more clear, I'll be redundant and stating my claim over and over. I don't want no one to think I'm confused about the celebration of the single mother. I don't want no one to think I'm confused about it. But because there's so many single mothers in the black community, there's no call for celebration for the ones that stay in relationships. This is real. And I'm going to tell you this. You're talking about the survival. The sister that said single mothers are celebrating the survival of them and their child. Well, guess what? Women who stay in relationships with men should celebrate the survival of the households that's not broken. Because the sustainable household for the black community is near extinct. So single mothers are not near extinct. Let's say it like that. We are not coming up on a shortage of single black women. We're not coming up on a shortage of broken family households in the black community. We're not coming on a shortage of children being brought up in households missing parents or a parent. Where there is a shortage in the black community is the sustained household with the man, woman, and child, or children. So we're talking about survival. That's the point you put out there. And this is a friendly debate because it's still love, because I salute you as a single sister, because I don't exactly know the circumstances that surround you that made you single. I don't know if you're guilty. I don't know if the other side's guilty. I don't know what percentage of guilt either one of the two sides take. Obviously both sides being guilty. But we'll figure it out. The reality is this though. If we're going to talk about survival when it comes to the black family, we need to talk about the sustainable black family being near extinct. If we're going to talk about the survival of the black family, we have to talk about the black family being near extinct as far as the whole unit is concerned. You know, I'm in the airport. I'm just thinking. When I get free time, I got to get it in. I got to get it in. I got to get it in. You know how we do. Told you we got that nice estate in Florida. So, you know, Florida's really rubbed off on me. Right. So what you got to say about that, man? I'm looking to see what you guys' comments are. What do you have to say about it? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Because at the end of the day, like I said, kudos to those who work hard, who's not part of perpetuating the system, or find themselves more or less victims of the system by circumstance. Okay? But now, I know this. Oh, Miami, of course. Miami, definitely. But I know this, and this is a fact. Anytime a species that is considered valuable or worthwhile is about to be extinct, especially considering the effect of the ecosystem from which it derives, there's normally a concerted effort to ensure the lives of those species. So I know As far as black culture is concerned, we're going to call our communities the ecosystem in this model. And the combined energy of the man, woman, and child represents the species in this model. And the combined energy for the sake of that child, the combined energy called the family unit, for the purposes of developing an edified child, one that will definitely prosper on account to the fact that they have both their mother and father in the household. Because we know when we play the law of average, it's more likely that a child will come out mentally stable if they have the mother and the father, because they both play integral roles that each other can only emulate at best, because nothing's better than having the immediate gender on deck to fulfill their duty and obligation. So, because of the significance of the species, we're going to call the family unit, and respect to its ecosystem, we're going to call the black community. If we see that it's near extinct, we're supposed to go out our way and do everything in our power. We're supposed to have a vested interest in the survival and sustainability of the black family, consisting of man, woman, and child. Absolute facts. Absolute facts. Yeah, so what I'm gonna say is, as hard as it is for a woman to be single and raise a child, I'm gonna say it must obviously be harder for her to keep a man. And that's also to say to the man, it must be harder for him to keep a woman, to be fair, because I don't want it to sound one-sided. So I don't want to hear how hard it is, but you know, we're doing that because it's hard for her to raise her child by herself. Well, if that be the case, it must also be hard to stay in a relationship. So therefore, it should be hard to make a child, understanding the odds is against you. I'm just talking truth. You know I love y'all. You know I teach black woman is God. I say it loud, I profess it every day. It doesn't matter who I'm around. But the reality is, we got to really consider what we're saying. You know, for every argument you got, she's celebrating the survival of her and the child. I might celebrate the survival of the family unit, because there's less strong family units together than there are single mothers. Facts. Facts. Juwan Howard. These are facts, man. So we gotta just keep this thing real, man, and do what we gotta do. We gotta stop playing around. So how do we fix it? One of the ways I'm addressing to fix it on this glorious Mother's Day, salute to all women who endured the birth process, because that in itself is a miracle of its own. And they've been blessed with the ability and the responsibility to take care of that whole gestation process.
Okay, I got it. Don't worry.
So salute to all mothers that's out there. And one way we come up with the cure, the resolution to this situation, is to celebrate the peak of black culture. Celebrate the best of our culture. Okay? Let's sing about families that's not broken. Hey, peace to the families. Sorry about that. That was a word from our sponsors. Now we're back. Okay? So like I said, you know I'm on the front line for the black woman. Y'all know that. You know we ain't talking about glorifying her. We talking about glorifying our sisters. You know that. The black woman is God. Y'all know that. But at the same rate, I ain't into no spook God. She's God based on her potential. And with that potential, she has to actualize those matters. She can't just be there like, hey, I'm God and, you know, I'm void of any fault, because even any God that's ever been presented to the black man or black woman has faults galore. Starting from when they made man, who has the ability to have faults. Because if God made man in his image and after his likeness, then it stands to reason we are a reflection of that which we come from. And if that be the case, then God has faults and imperfections. God did repent in Genesis chapter 6, verse 6. For he used the word nacham, which means when it says it repented the Lord that he made man, and it in Proto-Semitic languages can mean he or she, right? As well. So he or she repented, nacham, that he made man. Facts. So if even the notorious God of the Bible can repent that he made man, then who's man to get mad if man makes a mistake? Or if a sister makes a mistake? It's all good. But the question is, how much times we going to make the mistake perpetual? Because we know doing the same thing over and over and expecting change, yeah, I know what it is. Brings about insanity. That's insanity. So this person says, who cares mothers are single or not? I care. That's what the stream is about. I care if mothers are single or not, because I grew up in a broken family household, so I know the effects and the trauma that it has on a child. I've also had to do motivational speaking in Rikers Island, as well as Orange County, where lifers are. You know what? Those people, the majority of those brothers and sisters were brought up in broken family households. I care. You may not care. I care. There's a higher probability that we would have better mental health if we were brought up in healthy households formulated by man, woman, and child. And in economics, what makes a household is 3 different generations. That's the grandparents, their children, and their children's children. So that way the children can see their parents being scolded as well. So they can see the discipline demonstrated by their parents. So in economics, a household is consistent with 3 different generations. But first, we got to see if we can keep one generation together. True story. True story. So again, this is not a knock, but I gotta hit you. I gotta hit you on the day where you're paying attention to these types of ideas, or I gotta hit you on the day where you're more likely to be impacted by these suggestions. Because that's all it is, just a suggestion. I'm not telling you to stop bigging up any mother. And some of you in your feelings, but I'm not telling you to stop bigging up any mother. I'm telling you we have to put more effort into celebrating people when the process works out in its most perfected state. You care about broken families, then why are you trying to demean and subjugate them here on Mother's Day? Sister Lisa Godley, you're extremely emotional. I can't say what I said, but so many times. I said I salute the sisters who may have been subject to circumstances beyond our imaginations that landed them in that single space. But no one has a monopoly on any day of the week where we can't teach truth. So what I'm saying is true. You got to swallow that pill. Because the truth pill can't be swallowed any day of the week, any day of the year. Don't tell me there's a day of the year where we can't speak truth. If what I'm saying is true, we got to deal with that fact. Because you don't have to be here listening to this truth right now. You could just go and do your celebrations while your community is destroyed. I'm just saying, I've seen so many. She's a strong black woman. My mom's strong because she raised me by herself. My mom's strong, she raised me by herself. My mom is strong. I'm like, yo, you know what? Somebody needs to say their mom is strong because she stayed in the relationship. We need that too. So guess what? On my post, my wives are strong who have my children because they stayed in the relationship. We're going to support that too. We're not going to play games and sell this one-sided story because people are offended that we also are going to promote. Yeah, what's up, King? We also want to promote sustainable households. Peace, yo. I'm chilling, King. Just over here doing a live before I fly out.
I feel the same way going through Charlotte, going back to Cali, sir.
Oh, that's deep. That's dope. That's dope. All right.
Respect your mind, pray.
Word.
How is everything going?
I'm doing my thing. I'm just telling people we need this.
Brother.
Oh, no, you good. You can't interrupt. It's all love. I was just talking to the people and letting them know, you know, there's a lot of, my mama's strong because she raised me by herself. My mama's strong, she raised me by myself. So I'm like, I ain't see one post where someone said, my mama's strong, she stayed with her man.
My mother passed, so
my mom passed too. You feel me?
I have that mind frame to grow with a particular male, so I was raised by the wrong kind of brothers.
I dig it. So you know what I'm saying is this. We also need some images. Let's say my mama was strong. She stayed in a relationship.
She struck it out.
Stuck it out. You know what I'm saying?
She stuck it out.
That's what we need too. We can't just be in here selling that side of the story. Because that side of the story is giving us a false impression and we don't get balance. So what I'm telling y'all, if y'all got parents that's still together, post that. Because we don't see enough of that. Please. All we see is she's a strong black woman. She's by herself. I'm starting to think you're supposed to be single to be strong and black and a woman.
You got to be strong and be single and black in America.
Yeah, and you know what? It takes more strength to stay in a damn relationship. Stay committed. Don't cheat and make an effort to work out your problems. It takes more strength to stay together in the family. I'm not listening to all that other stuff. I could be in your feelings. I done taught the black woman this God every day of the week. You're not going to hit me this one day of the week and get in your feelings. You know what I'm saying?
Brother Polight,
yo, peace,
appreciate your help. Appreciate you.
Thanks for listening. What's your name,
Keep
King?
doing your thing. Ram.
Ram?
Nice to meet you.
All right, King.
Appreciate you.
Salute. Oh, thanks. You saw my interview with Jason Lee and Melissa Ford. That's what's up. Damn, I think I lost my pass. About to miss my flight. Yo, we building though. This is a good build. This is a good build. Feeling it. Alright, y'all. I think I done stayed as long as I could stay. Oh. I think I stayed as long as I could stay. I'm about to holler at y'all. Yeah, we with the black and whites. We with the black and whites. You can be my lover. It don't matter if you black or white.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
There you go. Have a good one.
Appreciate it. Well, about to take off, family. Yeah, that's the right way to say it. Let's not normalize the single mother paradigm. Listen, everybody that I know, we gotta remember racism and slavery and all that, but that's not always in question just because a woman is single and she's black. We gotta stop the bullshit sometimes. Pardon my language. Sometimes, most of the times, I believe the relationship ain't work out because both one or two parties was uneducated or the other party just was lying too damn much. What the hell does racism got to do with your relationship if both of you are black? Now I can see if you married a white man and y'all broke up, and you broke up because he was racist. But if a black man and a black woman get together and they break up, how the hell are you blaming the white man for that shit? You got to stop that. And I do understand there's circumstances that's created that makes living harder, that puts burden on your family. But then don't create children then. You can't blame other races for every damn thing that go wrong in your circle. Take some damn accountability and say, you know what? You met your man in the club and you got a club man and he clubbed you over your head and y'all broke up because he's abusive. That's what you get. You go to the club, you get clubbed in your head. If you met the man in school, it might have worked out. But you ain't meet him in school. You ain't meet him in a lecture. You met him when you turned around to see who's going to jump behind your booty. So you see? Now, I'm being frank with you because I don't want to hear the excuses. We have a different forum where we blame white people for everything. This ain't the forum. There's several forums out there for people like that. That ain't my forum. You're picking people that's not good for you. And you're making babies with them before you realize they're good for you. Let's just be for real. And in that, I'm not blaming the man or the woman without giving them 50-50 responsibility. Everybody gotta be held accountable. This is not a bash the sister situation. Everybody gotta be held accountable. But the reality is, it could have been avoided for most people if they just been patient to realize the nature of the character of the person they with. You can't keep selling this idea that someone tricked you into having a relationship, someone tricked you into having a baby. We got to stop that. Ain't nobody trick you. Unless you wanted to be tricked, because you ain't have the discipline in the form of patience to discern among spirits that you invite into your household or even into your body. So, you know, I'm turned up, drawing attention around myself, so ain't nothing new. But we gotta keep it real. We gotta keep it real. I'm not confused about our history and how things are hard for us. I'm not confused about that. But there's some things you can't put into your own hands. Okay? There's some decisions that you actually could be held accountable for, like who you choose to be in a relationship with. Let's not play that game. Let's not be conscious of racism after you break up, but not, you know, you're conscious of it when you break up, but you're not conscious of it when you get together. If that be the case, you should have been afraid to get with someone because racism exists. Don't start telling me about racism because you broke up with your man. Now it's the white man's fault. You should have been so scared you didn't get with nobody. See, we gotta be for real, man. You can't tell me that kind of stuff. You can't tell me that. Yeah, it's all good. Of course the disrespect gotta come. Because when people are mentally defeated, they gotta call people names and wish them harm and injury. They can't battle it out intellectually because they're emotional. Now, how many times am I going to kiss behind the sisters and say, salute to you for being a sister, and if I don't know your situation, don't take what I'm saying personally. You're sounding guilty. I ain't going to change my stance. Now let me get in this plane. I'll see y'all later. We need to have this discussion again. I love y'all. Peace. Make sure you follow me on IG, brother_POLIGHT. Make sure you share this video and ask people what they think. It's a heck of a day to have a video like this, ain't it? Peace.